It's day 2.
Early this morning, my blood sugar and my Dexcom was
There's always going to be things that are less than ideal and things that you absolutely love.
So you gotta breathe, breathe, let it go and let it be.
Good morning, guys. From Massachusetts, we are here at home, and yesterday
Good morning.
Was a big day. If you missed yesterday's vlog, we were at CF Clinic and Mary started this new medication, and it's day 2 on this medication. She took 2 doses yesterday and then took a dose this morning, but one of the things that's happening is her blood sugar is dropping.
I don't know if it's related. I don't know if it's not related. There was one other medication, very not related to this medication, that causes my blood sugar to drop as well. So, I don't know. I mean, it was about an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes after yesterday's dose. Because it was like right when we were getting in the car, I think. I had to stay for an hour after the dose yesterday, and then when I was getting in the car, my blood sugar was dropping, and like it went to, I think it was in the 50s yesterday, and then early this morning my blood sugar and my Dexcom was and now an hour after the dose that I took, an hour and 15 minutes, I took note of when it was. After I took my dose, it was like dropping. It was like, oh, 53, and I was like, okay, I need to like deal with this. And then I drank a juice and it kept going down. It went down to 42, which I think is probably one of the lowest I've gone. But anyway,
I came into the room
and
she was like kind of sitting cross-legged on the bed and kind of like spacing out, and it's like
I know I'm here, but
yeah, it was just kind of like one of those spacing out lows. And so her doctor did mention that people who have CF related diabetes, once you start these Vertex medications, sometimes the pancreas regulates insulin a little better, and so people who take insulin might not need to take as much insulin and that sort of thing. So if that is the case, perhaps Mary's body is causing her to go lower because of the medication.
I don't take insulin.
Yeah.
My body gives me too much insulin, so I go low, but it gives it to me at the wrong times.
It like goes into overdrive.
So we will see if this is a related side effect or not. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But we'll try to stay on top of the blood sugar situation. But
no other like noticeable side effects.
Yeah.
I was getting a low-grade fever yesterday, but I had already been doing that like previous. So at first I was like, ooh, it kind of feels like the start of IVs, but it never did anything through the night. So hopefully, I don't know, we'll just have to see. It feels like the calm before the storm, like when I start IVs and I hook up my first dose and it's like, oh, I'm hooking up, okay, nothing's happening, I'm fine. But then 12 hours later, I'm like sick as a dog.
But hopefully that's not the case, and like we mentioned yesterday, she's kind of gradually starting it, so a half dose in the morning for these first 3 days, and then she'll go to the full dose.
I'm curious what my blood sugar will do on the full dose.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe this is just an adjustment for your body, but hopefully we don't have spaced out Mary every time she takes a drug. But we are I'm working on editing some videos today, and we are kind of just taking a deep breath and settling back into life here for now, and getting ready for church tomorrow, and getting my sermon ready, and all the things. Feels like a whole different world in North Carolina, and here we're in this kind of weird in-between where I've talked about this before, but so much of life is lived in the in-between, like in between where you are and where you hope to be, or where you are and pieces that have to come together and that sort of thing.
Right.
So for now, we like, one of the things Mary and I are really trying to focus on is being fully present in where we are in the midst of like a lot of
Back and forth, up and down.
yeah, like a lot of uncertainty and moving pieces, and then like just focusing on being fully present. So today I'll be working on getting my sermon ready and preaching tomorrow at church. I'm really excited about it.
And somebody asked me, was it hard to leave your new house? I was like, no, not really. I mean, I love it, and I am excited to like set it up and stuff. But I knew ahead of time that we were only going to be there for 2 days. And so I was excited to get back to this life here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little turbulent, like back and forth and all of that. Oh, I was thinking we could answer a few questions.
Let's do it.
One of the questions that you guys have had is, what about a master bathroom or a master bedroom bathroom on the first floor? And that was definitely something that was on our radar, like if possible, that would be something that we would be interested in. But there's this thing when you go to buy a house that it's called compromise. When you have a certain amount that you are able to spend on your house, there are certain things that you're like, these are things that I'd love to have, but sometimes you can't get all of those things. Location is obviously most important.
Yeah, I think when we started, the first thing was, when we started the house searching, was we want to be within a short distance of Duke Hospital. And for us, that was within a half hour, but we really wanted to be closer than that. And so it was, we limited the geographical area, and then it was, we wanted a yard for Ollie.
Big enough for him to get up a gallop.
Yeah, something that was either fenced in or we could fence in.
Yeah.
And then we initially started looking at, oh, maybe we could get a one-story, like ranch style house. And that was kind of like our ideal. And as we started looking at the housing market, either houses that were enough space that were a one-story house were like way out of our price range, or there were those other things, it didn't fit into the radius or the yard or whatever. So
basically what the plan is just like we've always done in any house we've ever lived in, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
And the things that were of importance to us, a safe place for Ollie in proximity to the hospital, a nice environment for us to live in, all of those things came together. And so the reality is, stairs are fine for me, and it's actually good for me when I'm able to do them. It's good for my body. It is hard for sure, but I've done it here for the last three years, and it works. It works fine.
And one of the things that we wanted to focus on was not necessarily the layout of the house, because we feel like that is something we can adapt, such as what we call the sitting room or the pew room in the front. We could always we were even talking about possibly putting a day bed down there so Mary can have a spot to relax on the downstairs and not have to go up if she needs to.
Kind of like this bedroom has turned into.
Yeah, and we aren't sure if we'll set it up like that, but one of the things that, if and when we get to transplant, both before and after transplant, Mary is going to be in pulmonary rehab for the journey up to transplant, and after transplant is having her lungs working and mobile and her body strengthening. And so the stairs weren't a deal breaker for us. And
well, in pulmonary rehab, I'm doing like 4 hours a day, and that's like working out. That's walking and doing a mile or a half mile or something. Like, you're walking a lot and your body has to be up and able to be strong enough for transplant. And so, like Peter said, stairs were no big thing.
Yeah.
Chicken wang.
Chicken wang.
But yeah, so adapting whatever the space looks like for our needs. And so it has a half bath down on the first floor, just like this house. And so if there's a time when stairs are too hard for me, then I will live on the first floor and we'll make it work.
Yeah.
So we're not worried about that. We're just really grateful for the space that there is and the ways that we can get creative with it. And what was another question I was thinking we could go through?
Okay, one question that I know a lot of people have asked is, what about the boat?
Oh, the boat. Oh my goodness.
So, a couple of things about the boat. Number one, it won't go in the garage. Number two, there isn't space we don't have anywhere to keep it at the house.
It's either the garage or it doesn't fit.
And so we're trying to figure out the boat situation. There's a lot of moving parts in it, in that one detail is there's a lot of moving parts in us moving, and the boat is another piece of that. So there's a possibility of us not bringing the boat with us. There's a possibility of us bringing the boat with us and storing it somewhere when we're like not at our house.
Right.
And so we're still figuring that out. There are places, there's a couple of lakes in the area that we can use the boat at. But there's just a lot of moving parts.
And it was like really, really sad for me to think about, oh, maybe the boat won't be able to come with us, and that made me super sad until I got there and I just kept singing, it's a new season, it's a new day. And it's just that reality of like, we really genuinely love that boat and the time we have together on that boat. But maybe that was for that season, and this new season, we can spend our time together in a different way, and maybe the boat needs to find a new family or whatever. It'll be, it'll have to be a family who will love it for all of its oldness and its quirkiness.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Neither of us are stressed about not taking the boat. And maybe we can, and we'll figure it out. So yeah, for at this point, we are dreaming of what that house, how it will become our home.
Yeah.
And so, like Peter was saying, we're in this in-between. We don't know timing. We don't know what my health is going to do on this new medication. We don't know more than we do know. Yeah. But one thing we do know, when the time comes, we have a place to call home, and we're excited to get creative with the space. I'm so excited for the new working room.
Yeah.
He constantly has to like step over me because I sit on the floor up there in that working room that's very small. And so the thought of like having more space for that is really exciting.
Totally.
We're really excited and thankful. And I cannot say this enough. I typed this down in my phone earlier because I was thinking about it. All of the places that we have lived. When we first got married, we moved into the downstairs. We rented the bottom half of somebody's house. We found it on Craigslist, and that was our home. And that family walked through our apartment every day because that was their way to get to the garage. And at first we were like, what? They're gonna walk through our part of the house? But we got used to it and we adapted and we made it work. And then we lived there for 6 months, and then we lived with an elderly man for 6 months, and we didn't have a kitchen. We used his kitchen, which was Pepto-Bismol pink from like 1960. And it was like, oh, this is okay. We gotta adjust. And we adapted and we learned from that scenario. Not the kitchen, we learned from living with him.
Yeah. And as I think about, then we went to the seminary campus, and it was a much smaller space, and then we, went to, I guess, Scotland, and like all these places, like every place that you live, no matter like if you build your dream house or you're renting an apartment, there's always going to be things that are less than ideal and things that you absolutely love. Yeah. And what we found is there's things that you didn't know that you'd love about each of these places, and you learn to love them. And so we're excited for those pieces of our new house. Like, we pretty much love everything about it at this point. But I think there's going to be things about it that we like learn to love, and things that we learn to make work, and all of that. And So we're excited. It's a crazy journey. If you've missed the vlogs for the last week, you can get a little tour of our new house and all of those pieces. But guys, thanks for coming on this journey with us. We've got a busy day of settling back into life here, and we'll keep you updated on Mary's journey with Vertex. And
as always,
we'll see you tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
And good night to